And now, from the Sunnybrook Ballroom in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, it's the Bring 'em Out podcast with your hosts, Joel Richardson and Alan Hill.
Hey, everybody, we're here at the Sunnybrook Ballroom inside the podcast studio with another episode of Bring 'em Out. I'm Alan Hill, here with SoulJoel himself, Joel Richardson, and we are flying solo, buddy.
Well, it's the bonus episode.
Friday.
You went to WrestleMania with our good friend Chris.
Yes.
And we want to talk all about that. But first, I'm going to tell 3 stories, but you were inspired by yoga.
Okay, dude. So this is funny, man. So I've gone through some changes in the last year.
Yeah.
And trying to get healthier. And one of the big ones was starting yoga.
Yeah.
And
that's helped you lose weight.
Absolutely. It's helped me lose weight. It's helped me get back playing guitar again. It's helped me with the back issues. It's helped my entire everything. You know, the pinched nerve.
Yeah.
Everything is better since I started doing yoga. So part of the reason, I've had this in my head for years. It's one of those things, you know, the thing you should do, but you just don't pull the trigger.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like for us, it might be eating 1 meal or 2 a day instead of 7.
If not now, when?
Exactly, man. Exactly. So, so this has been in the back of my head since my 20s, and it really started with a guy named Doug Riley.
Dude, I thought you were going to say the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, dude, no, forever, bro.
Yeah.
Forever.
Better part of 3 decades.
3 decades, because I was fucked up since I was 16 years old. Because the thing that caused my hip replacement was an accident that happened at 16.
Oh.
Yeah. So my athletic career went out the window. But it started me playing guitar. You know what I mean? So
right.
You give and you take.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was a pretty cool exchange in the long run because I'm pretty happy playing guitar, and my sports days would have been long over.
Right. Right.
No matter how far I made it, who knows what that would have been. So, because of I had a massive limp. I still limp for sure, but back then it was like Quasimodo before the hip replacement. And I had people recommend yoga to me all the time. Like I had one of my few serious girlfriends back in the day was a massage therapist, was very into Lauren, love you. And she recommended all these things that made a lot of sense. You know what I mean? That I just completely ignored at the time. You know what I mean? And but then the one thing that made a really big impact, because Lauren was in that world, I expected her to tell me these things. Even though she was right and it was smart and it was good, I expected it from her, so I dismissed it a little bit as a young, cocky asshole.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not now.
Yeah, okay, hippie chick. You know what I mean? Go play with your crystals. You know what I mean?
Thanks for listening.
Which I'm all about now.
Yeah.
But back then, I was a dismissive, negative douche, and so. But then I played in a band called Save the Ales, which is one of my favorite band names ever. Back when I was in my mid to late 20s, and everybody else was in their 40s, pushing 50. Okay, and I played with a guy named Doug Riley. Hi, Doug, and Dave Malone. Love them both, and Russ. Love you. And Doug told me one time, I ran into him. This was we played in a band together, and then that band ended after 2 or 3 years. I run into him a year or 2 later, okay? And I'm at my physical worst. I'm about a year, maybe 2 away from getting my hip replaced, and I'm sucking it up big time because I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm trying to make it further so I can get a better hip done. Waiting for science to catch up, right? Shit. So I run into him at a bar. I haven't seen him in a couple years since the band ended, and he looked great. He was glowing. He looked younger. He was in great shape. He had a girlfriend half his age. You know what I mean? And I was like, Doug, what the hell's going on? It's great to see you. You look incredible. He goes, yoga, man, changed my life. Now that planted the seed really firmly because that was a dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That wasn't one of my, I love, and I've always been drawn to hippie chicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that wasn't a hippie chick it was in her world.
Right.
This was a dude who found it just on his way to the, bowling that night or whatever he does. You know what I mean? So it left an impact, even though it still took me another 15 years to get there. All right. So when I finally started it, I thought about Doug.
Wait. So that point was 15 years ago?
That was 15 years ago. I still didn't do it. Okay.
Oh boy.
Now, 15 years later, I finally start. Right. It's changing my life in a positive way. You know what I mean? It's really affecting me physically. I'm feeling better. I have a little routine that I do. I write in a notebook. Nobody would believe this. People that know me the best wouldn't believe I'm sitting there making a yoga journal once a day, but I am. And so all this is going on. I've had a great 6 months of this or whatever it's been. And I go out to McCleary's, the place I play in Marietta all the time with my band that my friends Danielle and Freddie own. And we're out there hanging out with a couple buddies and the two owners' friends. And Doug Riley, who I haven't seen in, I couldn't even tell you how long, comes in. And I'm like, oh, I got to say thank you for the yoga thing. You know what I mean? Like, that really left an impact. So I walked up to him, and I was like, Doug, it's great to see you. We caught up for a little bit. And I said, I got to tell you, man. Now, he was a little tipsy because they had just played. They're in an Irish band. This was St. Patrick's Day. All right?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
They had just played.
Yeah.
I know their pre-show routine.
Yep.
It involves whiskey. And so he was into it a little bit. And I went up, and I was like, dude, I just got to thank you, man. I said, you planted a seed a long time ago that's really made an impact in my life. And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, with the yoga thing. And he looked at me after 15 years, and I was waiting for this big payoff. And he looks at me and goes, the fuck are you talking about? He didn't remember it at all. He took one yoga class 15 years ago, was drunk at the bar that night, and told me it changed his life. But that impacted me in a really positive way to actually do it 15 years later.
Meant more to you than him.
And way more to me than him.
Not only that, but he doesn't even remember.
He doesn't even remember how to...
It doesn't sound like he was nearly glowing as much.
I don't think he could even do downward dog at this point.
Dog, what are you talking about?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I could not believe it.
Now, this might be the whiskey talking about, but, bro, what are you talking about?
So we had a big old chuckle, and
Yeah.
I went off into the night with my yoga, and he went back to not doing yoga.
So you even tried to, like, further explain?
Yes.
And no recollection.
He had no clue.
Didn't jog his memory or any other exercise.
No clue. And in all honesty, I said he took one yoga class and never did it again. I made that up. What the real story was, he didn't remember doing yoga at all. He told me it changed his life.
But that girlfriend, was that his yoga instructor or something?
I don't even know.
Oh.
He doesn't know, so I
Doesn't
can't
remember.
know. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's crazy.
Isn't that priceless?
So I've equally had a crazy week. My mom, who shout out to my mom and both my sisters, they've been helping out Deanna and Laura, helping me behind the scenes with this whole thing. So my mom, as technology has evaded, it's a part of our lives, but even us at certain points, like you're like the younger generation. That's why I have Ronan and different people around me that always help out. Well,
fresh ideas.
Yeah, we get hacked, okay, and my mom has to. I change her password, and then she has trouble getting into her email.
Okay.
And when we get her in, she has trouble logging in. It took like 5 days, and I'm like, I can't figure out who the administrator is and stuff like that. And she finally is. She's in, figures everything out, and then she goes, Joel, I got into the control panel. Now, if I'm looking at this, how can I see who the administrator is? Without hesitation, I said, the fact that you're looking at it, I think you have your answer. She goes, well, how about that? I see what you're saying. I'm like, you are the administrator.
That's awesome.
So you could have been helping yourself the entire time. It was you.
Oh, that sounds like something I would do. 100%.
Dude, 100%. Oh. And that was a little bit her, a little bit age. Like, that was, yeah.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I have that issue, and
yeah,
I'll be 50 in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, the next two stories, we have my girlfriend Lauren, Deanna, and I have dinner on Sunday night with my cousin from Uniontown, husband. So it's my cousin through marriage. Okay? They've almost been married 20 years.
Okay.
Like, I was in the wedding. They're great. Deanna just visited them for Easter, and he goes, hey, I'm going to Ben Salem. Like, I looked it up. Like, it's not that far from you guys. When I fly in, do you guys want to have like dinner together? So he's in a conference. Dude, people are flying in from everywhere, right? And like France, like this, like international thing. Dude, he's at the water cooler on Tuesday, and he texted Deanna and I. He said one guy said to the other guy right before the sales conference started and goes, hey, has anybody been to SoulJoel's lately?
Come on.
And it's not like they were in Pottstown or even King of Prussia.
No.
Anywhere, Limerick, anywhere within the area of where I did. They were an hour away.
That's wild.
An hour.
Wild.
Yeah.
And he didn't bring it up.
But he looked at everyone like, dude, where are the cameras? Is someone messing with me?
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's been to the beginning.
Yeah.
The beginning.
Was he at that show when your grandpa took the mic?
No.
Okay.
No. But he was at a lot of other shows.
A lot of the other ones. Yeah.
Where like I brought like you know, the whole lineup were like openers.
Wow.
But like, you know, just guys are my open mic buddies, like guys that, you know,
and some of them we probably know now.
Yeah, exactly. And half are out of the business.
And half of them are selling furniture.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was at those type of shows, but like that was a real moment for me where he's like, dude, this is a lot bigger than I thought. Like
That's incredible.
They follow on social media, but don't realize, because they've been to shows. They've been to shows out in their area, but haven't been to
nothing
shows
compared to what's going on now.
No,
or even in the Dome
next
and Rofo.
level. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like a really cool moment. And he was like,
"That's amazing."
He's like, "Dude, I just had dinner with him on Sunday. Not a big deal."
So he's on the same wavelength as your nieces and nephews. He feels the same way about your stardom.
He's like, "Yeah." And
So
then,
awesome.
Final story before we get to WrestleMania.
That's so cool. Shout out to your cousin.
Yeah, I go to Wawa, right, and I'm grabbing lunch for my mom, you know, and dude, I've been literally, it's right down the street, so whether I'm grabbing coffee or whatever it is, I go in there once a day for the last year and a half since we've been here at Sunnybrook, almost 2 years.
Right.
Lady sees my shirt. This just happened today.
Oh, just today. Okay.
And she goes, "Do you work there?" I had to look down. I'm like, I'm making sure what shirt I had on.
Totally.
Yeah, because my face is right here. And I go, "Yeah, I do." She goes, "Great. I've heard so much about this." Now, this is a manager that checks me out at the register.
Oh, this is a worker at Wawa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay, cool.
yes. Yeah. Who I see 3 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah. And her supervisor has actually like talked to me, and I've told her before. I go, "Oh yeah." I go, she goes, "Aren't you related?" I go, No. I go, her cousin Rusty and Liz, Liz, her cousin, and her husband Rusty Lair. You know.
Oh sure.
Yeah, they come all the time. I said, that's how she knows me. I go right down the street, and I explained the whole thing.
No kidding.
Get nothing, no reaction, and I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right. So because she was she thought I was busting on her for asking for my Wawa rewards card. Meanwhile, I'm like, no, I just want to scan the rewards.
Yeah.
I have no idea if you want to ask. I just want to do it. So I go, yeah, I could bring in flyers. I'm getting a new one made on Friday, and I'll bring it in. She goes, oh, that'd be great. I heard so many good things, from bingo to line dancing to comedy shows, music events. The whole promo.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm Joel, by the way. I just said that.
Yeah.
You could see like her head exploded. She goes, oh, I had no idea. And a lady who had been listening to the whole conversation turns around from the water cooler and goes, oh, I've been following on social media. I didn't know you were Joel either. Nice to meet you. Oh. And I'm like, she goes, you're like a local celebrity. I go, not really.
Yeah.
Not at all. I go, this is very humbling.
Totally.
I said, this is right above my name. I said, but God has made my name famous and not my face. I go, and I do a lot of branding. I do a lot of branding with this and this.
You're all over
this
the
and
place.
this simultaneously.
All over the
You look at
place.
Instagram, the top 3 videos pinned, it's my face.
Yes.
This and right here.
Totally.
And my mom goes, well, they know this. They don't know this.
Oh, that's perfect.
They know this, but not this.
Oh, that's perfect, Donna. Donna, you are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's priceless, bro.
How was your weekend?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so awesome.
Dude, all in one week.
So awesome.
It's enough to get you up here and then bring you right back down here.
Yes, your life is so priceless, man, because your ego just gets kept in check no matter what big things are happening, man.
Yeah.
You book Colin Quinn, here's a kick in the balls.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta count big, you brought 1,400 people in a weekend, here's a kick in the shins. You know what I mean?
Oh, literally day after day.
It's so fun.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Priceless, brother.
Dude, I am very jealous that you went to WrestleMania.
I can't wait to tell a few of the comics too, because I know they're gonna. Because Rinaldi's a big WrestleMania guy.
Oh yeah,
a wrestling fan.
Yeah, he gave me the idea to show it at Gatsby's. It was kind of too late.
We didn't have a chance to advertise it, but
yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
But it was a good idea.
Great
Something
idea.
to follow through later. SummerSlam will be coming up.
Yep.
But
so it's at the link. I didn't realize that.
Dude, I didn't either.
Okay. Oh.
So here's dude,
not sorry. I didn't mean to give that part away. If that's part of the story.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So yeah,
all good.
Because you said 72,000. Like I did see outside. I'm like, people were talking about, the drinks will be a little cooler or whatever.
Right. Lots of hot chocolate and coffee sold that night, probably.
Yeah.
But here's where it all started. So Chris Sturmer, who's been on the pod,
Yep.
and a great buddy, love you, man.
Who refused a memorabilia, a chair from me,
dude.
which I thought because he wasn't a big wrestling fan. Turns out, just not a fan of Banks.
Which is so funny.
Yeah.
I love it, man, because he is a huge wrestling fan. You
Right.
know what I mean? That was so funny.
Yeah. Not part of it.
Yeah. We'll talk about that another day. But so here's the deal. 2 months ago, Chris calls me up and tells me he's entering a work raffle. All right, and if he wins, he's gonna share the prize with me.
Yeah, but that's one of those things. Like, if I win the lottery, I'm splitting it however many ways.
100%.
You're like, yeah, we'll see you.
100%.
We'll see.
Bro. And especially given that he works at a company called Armstrong in Lancaster that I believe has somewhere between 10 and 20,000 employees.
Right.
Okay.
And now you say half of those enter or whatever it is, or then half of those get 10 different entries.
Right.
So you're talking about 1 in 50,000 chances to win.
Big odds.
Roughly.
Right? Yeah.
Roughly.
And there's one winner. There's no consolation prize. There's just one winner.
Right. It's like, and you get a ticket, and you get a ticket, and you get a ticket. Now you're all sitting next to each other.
Yeah, man. This ain't Oprah.
Yeah. One person wins 4 tickets.
Among all that. Exactly. 4 tickets.
Okay.
So Friday morning.
Willy Wonka.
Dude, 100%.
Yeah.
Golden ticket. So I wake up Friday morning, and there's a text from Chris.
Yeah.
And it says, you're not going to believe this. bro."
Perhaps Friday afternoon?
Yeah, well, no. It was Friday morning because I got up to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
And I always check my phone in case something important is happening, and I usually ignore almost everything.
Yeah.
And then I go back to sleep until the afternoon.
Yeah.
But this day I looked, and I couldn't get back to sleep because Chris texts me, you're not going to believe this, but I won the raffle. And are you free tomorrow? Can you go to WrestleMania?
Yeah. So how many times did you have to read it? Did you read it like 2 or 3 times?
I had to put my glasses on, take them back off, put them back
It's
on.
a whole procedure.
Rub them,
Yeah.
wipe them down. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? So so he's like, it's me, him, his girlfriend Tara, who's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
And then there was a 4th ticket to be given away.
Yeah. Who's that?
Well, he wanted me to invite Keith, who is the singer of my band, the guy who got the chair that day.
Yep.
Okay, who's the biggest wrestling fan I've ever known in my life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he couldn't do it.
Okay.
He had family obligations. Totally understand.
Yeah. It was last minute.
Yep. And then Chris said, "Well, how about Steve? Because he loves my bass player, Steve. All right.
Okay.
You only met Steve at the shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I called Steve. I said, "Hey, man, any interest in going to WrestleMania?" He's like, "Hell yeah, bro." So it was the 4 of us. We roll into WrestleMania.
He's not the guy. Matt was the guy that came to Phantom Power.
Yes, correct, Matt.
Okay,
yes,
okay,
our
okay.
drummer Matt and his wife Bree.
Okay. That's his drummer. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're unbelievable with your memory, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So this is Steve, the bass player, who's he makes me look small, and he's in really good. He's in much better shape.
Yeah.
I say to everybody that Steve is the reason we've never been shorted on gig money in our entire career.
So he goes.
So Steve, me, Chris, and his girlfriend Tara.
Wow.
All right. Now here's the
You're rolling with security.
yeah, dude. Now here's the best. The most interesting part of what's left of the story.
Did he wear a tank top?
Yeah, he did.
Dude.
Yeah, he
so
did.
you're an Eagles guy. You're outside at the link.
Well, I was at least smart enough to wear a hoodie.
Okay.
Steve had like he did. I think he had a sweatshirt to put over the.
Okay.
But yeah, he always wears
the pythons.
Yeah, he's got the pythons out, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
I get it,
dude. So if I had pythons, I'd have them out too.
Yeah.
So dude, this is where it got wild. So we walk in. We've got our luxury suite. You know, we're in a luxury suite, by the way, which I've never been in my life.
Oh, it's not 4 random seats.
Luxury box. And I've never even been in that part of the stadium.
Who else is in the box?
Well, okay, that's coming. There's
okay.
a little bit of a buildup.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
It's all right, though. Keep interjecting. I love this. ...
What?
Yeah. So, dude, we walk in. Within 2 minutes, we find a staff member that tells us where to go. All right?
Okay.
So we're supposed to walk to the Bud Light stand and go behind there where there's glass doors and then go in those elevators. All
Yeah.
right?
Now, at this point, is this why it took an hour? Or is this still the hour?
This is the beginning.
Oh, God.
This is the beginning.
Got it.
So we've already come in from the parking lot
Yep.
and done all that, which took maybe half an hour to get from the car through the lines.
Yep.
And now we're in the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about 72,000 people.
72,000, slightly over.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. 2 nights in a row, by the way. We were there on night 1.
Yeah.
And so we get the directions. we walk there. It looks good. We walk into these glass doors. There's 2 guys working. There's 3 cattle chutes for people to stand in line and 3 elevators.
Yep.
We get to the front. The guy looks at our phone. He goes, "Oh, you're good." And he goes, "Wait, no, let me see that again." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's the exact same thing, but you got to walk 180 around the stadium."
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "Okay, but that happens."
Yeah, you're in Antarctica. You got to go to.
Totally got to go to the South Pole.
Yeah.
So poor penguining down to the polar opposite.
No big deal.
Totally, dude. So we're walking. We have to, but the link isn't symmetrical. It's not an oval like the vet was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's all these weird little jut outs and staircases and things. Not easy to navigate when you're trying to just get from a 180 circle.
Now,
sort of
do you
thing.
also treat this like a comedy show?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, because I was on an edible deadline.
There it is. There it is. That's what we're talking about. That's why we came. This is what we came for.
Bam, and you know me very well, my friend. So yeah.
Speaking of jutting out.
So I'm thinking to backtrack a little bit, back at the car when we park.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking to myself, this is the perfect time to take the edible. It'll take probably about half hour to an hour to get in and get our seats, depending how the entrance is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I popped that edible.
The link's moving.
Dude, I got about 45 minutes to an hour at the most until this thing starts coming hard. All right?
Once you left the car.
Once I left the car.
Okay.
So by the time we get in the stadium, I've got a maximum of half an hour.
Yeah.
All right?
But you're a ticking time bomb.
I'm a ticking time bomb, bro.
Yeah.
So
in a good way.
in a good way. And it's a love bomb.
Yeah.
So, dude, we're working our way across the stadium, right, to get to that 180 point where there's supposed to be another set of glass doors and another set of elevators. All right. Now we're walking for what seems like forever. We've clearly gone more than half the stadium at a certain point, and so we've asked somebody else. They say we've got to go to some section that was backtracking. If we had gone from here to here, actually, we probably went to here. Okay. Now this guy wants us to go back to here. All right. Now we get to there. There's nothing there. There's nothing. So we ask another person. He says, "You got to go back to here." But we tried to go there. There wasn't anything there. But this time we backtrack again. This time we find it. All right. We must have gone a little further, or we missed it the first time. I don't know what happened. We get in there. We're like, "Oh, thank goodness we found it." We go up to the guy working the staff guy getting everybody in the elevators. He goes, "Oh, this isn't you." He goes, "You got to go back 180 to where we started." Where we started. So now we've been walking for half an hour at this point. All right. I'm now like it's kicking in. You know what I mean?
You can feel it.
Oh, I can feel it. And it's a good.
No turning back.
It's probably a really good thing because now I'm getting pissed. Now I'm getting sent like a wild goose chase by all these employees that don't know what the hell they're doing. You know what I mean? It's driving me bonkers. So this guy seemed to feel he felt right to me. You know what I mean? Like he felt he was confident and he seemed like he had a reasonable head on his shoulders. I said, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did it start yet? Did WrestleMania start?
No, because we gave ourselves plenty of time.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
It's now
Okay.
about 6:15.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to know.
Show starts at 7.
Yeah. How about the main event? Because I know this event started.
Bro, that event is starting. Yep, that is kicking in.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
thank goodness, like I said, because I'm starting to get pissed and it's keeping me mellow.
It's go time.
So now this guy who seems like the most competent of the people we've talked to is telling us we got to go back to where we started. All right. So we're like, let's just do it. You know, we get back there and we're not even going to show the guy the tickets this time. You know, I remember Chris was like, do we go up, down? Is this even right? I'm like, we're going up and we're getting off this level and we're just going to start all over again if it's not right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Start it on a different level with different people that don't know what they're doing. Right?
Perfect. What could go wrong?
Exactly. So
as long as you don't see the guy that already,
I saw him. And dude, you know Chris, right? And I looked at Chris at one point. I said, "How you holding up?" But he goes, "I'm getting pretty angry." I love you, dude, because I was right there with you. And dude is like, we're standing in this cattle chute of people trying to get into the elevators, and that dude's like right there. You know what I mean? And I'm just not looking at him. I'm trying not to start something. You know what I mean? I said to Chris, "Don't even show him the phone this time. We're just getting in the elevator."
Yeah, 72,000 people. Hopefully he doesn't even remember.
Exactly. And he didn't.
Okay.
So first elevator comes, I get in, but I'm the last person that can get in. And the other 3 people with me can't, so I hop off.
Yeah.
Then 3 more elevators get filled up by the other guy There's two dudes working these elevators. Our guy that screwed up and the other guy that we haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
Okay? He lets in his line 3 times instead of every other one, right? So now I'm standing there. Guy can feel me, you know what I mean? And he goes, next one is you. No matter what, just go. I said, okay, cool. So the middle elevator opens up. I walk forward. Dude over here comes over and goes, the hell you doing, man? You're supposed to, why don't you be a little patient, be a little courteous? Now, I'm not going to say exactly what I said, and you know I don't care about cursing much on this thing, but it was pretty foul, so I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
But what was very clear was that he needed to get the hell out of my face. And it's a damn good thing that edible had kicked in, or I might still be in mount pummeling him.
So, but wait, you're in the elevator and this is happening?
I was a step from the elevator. He comes over, shoves an arm in front of my face, and says, "What the hell are you doing, dude? You're not supposed, you know." And I said, the part that I can tell you is, I said, "Listen, first of all, back the fuck up. Second of all, your guy right there just told me to get on." And as soon as I said that, he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." I mean, it was all attitude and all in my face. But as soon as I said, your guy told me to do it, he was fine. And I said, come on, guys, hop in. We got up in our suite. 2 minutes later, the rest of the night was awesome.
And that was the right place.
It was the fucking right place from the start, bro. It took us roughly an hour and 15 minutes to get into that suite from the time we walked into the stadium.
So by minute 74, you just had it.
Dude, and at certain points, I was getting mad. Like, the only time I really, because I did a pretty good job of staying calm. Edible help and just trying to stay calm.
Yeah.
The only time I was really close to losing it was when that guy got in my face. And Steve, who's, Steve was a bouncer when he was younger, and Steve's been in way more fights than I could ever even think of.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I never saw you ready to go like that.
Oh, gosh. That's so funny.
Dude, it was priceless. But then the rest of the story is just an awesome night. WrestleMania was cool as shit. I'm not, like, dialed into wrestling, but I was a big fan when I was younger.
Same.
I keep an ear to it a little bit, so I still know some of the people, even though I don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know Roman Reigns has been, Seth Rollins, a lot of the people. And The Rock was in the main event, which was a cool little bonus for me.
For Saturday.
Yes, which was...
So did everybody know?
Yes, they knew that ahead of time.
Okay.
What they didn't know, and the big highlight of the night outside of all that, was the surprise appearance of 2 guys in eagle masks.
Okay.
That interfered with a tag team match, probably the second or third match of the night. And out come dudes in eagles masks, right? And these guys were bigger than... Now, it was a lucha libre match, which means it's like the Mexican pro wrestler guys who are very small relative to normal pro wrestlers. But these guys were huge. I mean, they were dwarfing them like you and I would dwarf an 8-year-old. You know what I mean? It was something else.
Yeah.
And the big reveal then was, of course, it was Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
Eagles. So
which they said they had been lifting and working out and
dude,
saw.
They were jacked, bro. And Lane Johnson was bigger than probably anybody in that ring all night. Like he's like 6'5", 320, 330. You know what I mean? There's nobody in the WWE that's that big anymore. I don't think. I mean, if they weren't there that night,
which is funny because you just think like you have nothing to compare it to, but you think you're like, oh, that's Big John Studd.
Exactly, dude. Well, that was back in the day when you and I were watching it in the 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah.
That was when Vince McMahon was all about superheroes.
Yeah.
He wanted everybody to look like a superhero. Big giant jack dudes. That looked like intimidating and crazy and could roam the earth. And,
right. Whether it was Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, those
all of that,
guys.
dude. All of that. You got it. You got it. Yep.
Yeah.
And now the one guy that has one of the belts in the WWE is like 6'1", 190 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's kind of normal anymore.
Strong but lean.
Yeah. And there's still some big dudes.
Well, they do a lot of acrobats.
A lot, dude. There's a guy named Ricochet.
Okay.
Ricochet, who is, he's a tiny guy, man. He can't be more than, I would say, 5'10", 170. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he is like, he takes like the snooker stuff, the aerial stuff from the 80s, and puts it on steroids and meth. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Dude,
it's evolving, just like anything else or what we talk about here.
It's cool.
Wrestling's evolving, yeah.
It's cool.
But what was it like inside the box?
That's okay. Thank you for asking that, because I've never been in a box before in my life.
Yeah.
I've been to, you can't even imagine how many events I've been to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been to more concerts than I could ever remember. I've been to more comedy shows than I can ever remember. And I've never been in a box in my life, so it was neat. I walked in. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the 4 of us, or if we were sharing it from other people from that company or whatever, you know what I mean? So we walked in, and there were 10 probably 10-ish people there other than us. All right.
Was anybody looking Chris in the mirror?
But it was
Certainly not you and Steve.
dude, it was funny, man. And there were, oh, by the way, quick side note, there were more big dudes at this event. I'm used to feel like, even at
In general, not inside the box.
not inside the box.
In general,
there were more big dudes at this event than I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Me and Steve walk into a room together. I'm the second biggest guy, and he's usually the biggest guy.
Yeah.
There's exceptions, because we're not, massive.
Right.
But I'm 6'2", he's 6'4". Odds are we're going to be in the highest percentage of what's in any given room. You know what I mean? Dude, I'm telling you, if there was 72,000 people and say 75% of them were guys, right? At least 70% of that number were bigger than me and Steve. I'm telling you, bro, it was the biggest room of dudes I've ever seen in my life in that stadium. It was like everybody that had giant blood in them or grew up near a power plant or whatever was in that place, man. It was something else, dude. You didn't want to get in a fight at that stadium that night.
That's
for
wild,
sure, bro. There were big dudes everywhere.
Yeah.
So the box. So it was the way it was is they had seats laid out.
Yep.
And
like 2 rows or 3 rows.
Yeah, it was like 3 rows and then like a bar row. Where it had, you know what I mean, for stools.
Kind of just hang, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have like where you look out, instead of there being a window, it's just open.
You probably prefer to sit at the bar.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's perfect you said that, because we walked in, because of all our adventures, everybody else was there before us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Chris looks at me and goes, well, we have these seats, but somebody took them. And I said, I looked at it, they're already over there shivering. Because, by the way, side note to this whole thing, was 40 degrees that night in an outdoor stadium. So thank goodness we were in this luxury box.
Oh, my gosh.
So we all huddled up real quick. And I was like, because I was already on a roll. I was still fired up from almost tackling Mr. Security guy. So I was like, you want me to deal with it?
Steve on the shoulders.
100%. You know. Yeah. And I know you know.
Running hot.
Guy on a Harley knew one day when I saw it, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, do you want me to deal with this, or are we okay? Because I said, I'm okay with sitting back there, because, look, they're shivering already.
Exactly.
And everybody was like, no, it's cool. Let's just sit at the bar. So we sat at the bar, dude. It was perfect. We were half in the warmth, half in the cold, so we were, totally fine.
Right.
Massive spread of food. Some of the best poutine fries I've ever had outside of here.
Right.
And Caesar salad, pizza, make your own cheesesteak. Dude, I'm telling you,
the works.
I had to put a big old muzzle on my face just to not just, come out of there 15 pounds heavier. It was awesome. And, and then there's only one other thing of note the whole night, which was there's also a big fridge where you could go grab whatever the hell you want, right? There was sodas, waters, beers, and White Claws and all that kind of stuff. And at one point I got up, I was craving a soda. I don't drink a lot of soda, but I was like, I'm going to have a Diet Pepsi. And I go grab a soda out of it. I take a couple steps. Now, everybody else was rapt attention on the wrestling card except one dude who was, because there's kind of like a living room area back in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like a couch and a couple chairs. There's a dude on the couch, and he's the only one watching me while I'm getting this Pepsi. All right? Now, I grab the Pepsi. I turn around. I start walking towards our bar seats. I stumble. The Pepsi falls out of my hand and rolls under one of the chairs. Now, I'm standing there. I had for 2 seconds, because it would have been a big effort to get that thing out from under that chair, because it was a heavy chair.
Yes.
It was too big, and me getting down on all fours is not an easy task. Despite the things you've seen with my stretching routine.
Yes. And the show's about to start.
Yes. So I'm standing there like this, thinking for a second, with a wry grin on my face.
Yeah.
I look over. I notice the guy finally. He looks at me, and there's the soda's over here. The fridge is over here. He looks at me and goes, points to the fridge like, why not just take another one, man? We're in the luxury suite. So I went over, grabbed another one, left that one under the chair, and drank my Pepsi. And me and him shared a good laugh about it.
Wait, the luxury suite didn't include food and drink?
Oh, no, it did. No. So this is in the luxury suite.
Yeah.
So okay. Here's the seats. We're looking out there, right? First row, second row, third row, bar row.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a whole room back here that's still part of the suite.
Oh, yeah,
that's fully indoors.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So in there's a living room setup with a couch and a couple chairs and a fridge.
Yeah.
And I can just walk to that fridge and take whatever I want all night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I didn't have to pay for it. So dude's like, just go grab another one, bro. Nobody's watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's what. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Yeah. You're like, why not?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, and then the kicker to the whole thing then is an hour later, I did grab the one from under the chair and drink that one too.
A little road soda. Overall, Chris had a good time.
Chris had a great time. I can't thank him enough for giving me an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted to go to WrestleMania so bad when I was a kid. Now,
Yeah.
that ended somewhere in my late teens, early 20s.
Had you been to a wrestling match before?
Twice, but not since I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And
Probably the same for me.
both of the wrestling matches I was at was, check this out, before WrestleMania 1.
Wow.
They were at a local high school gym.
Oh.
I saw Jimmy Snuka. I saw, Don Morocco, King Kong Bundy, all kinds of big names back then in a local high school gym. The high school I ended up going to for 2 years, okay, that held like maybe 500 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Within a year of that event, WrestleMania 1 happened, and you were never going to see him in a gym ever again. It was stadiums from that point forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, and the old Spectrum was probably the first and last time. Maybe a couple of events I've seen there.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's enclosed, and I just remember you hear it on TV, but how loud the slams, the stomping, the hitting,
Dude,
everything.
it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know
really-
how the sound was.
It was
in the
unbelievable because
link.
it was an open air stadium.
Yeah, that's what I
First
mean.
of all, I'm in a box, so the sound is muted somewhat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a female wrestler whose name I'm gonna blank on. They did a three person team tag match.
Yeah.
3 on each team. And this one wrestler has a braid that is as tall as her. Like it's
Yeah.
like a 6 foot long braid in her hair.
Yeah.
She whipped this girl with this braid, and it was the loudest sound in that stadium that night. Slams, chops to the chest. It was like cha, and it echoed throughout the stadium. I can only imagine the welt that is on that poor girl that had to take that. It was something, dude. Yeah, man. It echoed. I mean, in the box, it was loud.
Yeah.
And the box. The one thing I'll say about the box, I would never buy a ticket for a box for an event personally after that experience.
Yeah.
Because one, it's outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
But two, it really doesn't feel like you're totally at an event.
You feel like you're in your own living room.
You feel like
but
you're in
there.
a living room with 10 random strangers.
Yeah.
and you have to really force yourself to stay in it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in the stadium proper, in the public part of it,
You can look away for a minute.
yeah, and you're feeling the crowd, you're feeling everything,
The energy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it still felt like once you walked in the stadium, you could feel the energy, right?
100%, and it was a once in a lifetime thing for me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think, barring some other raffle, I'll never be in another luxury suite again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can't thank Chris enough. It was a blast. Loved it.
Yeah, because Scott here was talking about he brought his son, who's 7, to a wrestling event in Allentown.
Okay.
Because he had the choice of not choice, but going there. This is back in like November
Okay.
and or December-ish. He had his first wrestling match, real wrestling, and then that night he took him to the wrestling event in
Wow.
Allentown. $60 ticket. The same ticket in WrestleMania was $300.
Dude.
And he thought to himself, he goes, he's 7 years old. He's not, and we talked about it. It's like, all right, you could feel the energy of WrestleMania, but I think part of that being an adult is the knowledge of knowing that it's special.
100%.
And as a 7-year-old kid, without that knowledge, like,
I'm with you.
okay,
I'm with you.
yeah, to weigh the costs.
I'm with you 100%.
You're like, it's a special thing just to go to it.
Dude, it's a special thing 100%.
You don't even know WrestleMania, like
I still think about
televised and all that stuff.
that, seeing it in front of 500 people at Catholic High in what would have been like 82 and 83 or something like that is super special to me still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the massive expensive thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then maybe if he's still into wrestling when he's 12,
Yeah.
that's when you pop it on him.
That's when you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
yeah.
you're like, dude, I just went to WrestleMania.
Of course, by then it'll be $700, but
Yeah. Another episode of Bring 'Em Out.